Hey you guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Brad. This is the Firefighters Financial Toolbox. Today I want to talk to you about the importance of having a plan. If you look at successful people, their success didn't happen by accident. In many cases, they started their plan before they got into high school. Now, everybody knows a good plan has a couple of things. You have to be able to decide what you want, how you're going to do it, and ultimately when your goal is and what it's going to be. Now, for us, in our personal life, my wife and I's goal was to be able to retire when I was 55 and to move somewhere warmer. Now, we have gone back and forth a few times about where we wanted to live, but we knew it was someplace more sunny. Now, you can never tell, today is probably the nicest day we've had in the valley here in Oregon so far this year. You can hardly tell that 2 weeks ago we had an ice storm that destroyed pretty much all the trees on our street. But here's the thing, if Oregon could have this good of weather, like even 50% of the time, I would probably stay, but it doesn't. Today's an anomaly. It's March and it's 62 degrees out right now. The sun's out, it's beautiful. But our plan has always been to move somewhere warmer. So we started looking at places warmer. And as you've seen in some of my past videos, this one and this one, we went down to Arizona and looked for a home that we were going to build in a 55 and over community and have all the amenities that we wanted close by. Well, when we went back in July, we found a couple of homes that we liked. And when we went back again last month in February, you guys, those home prices have gone up $40,000 to $50,000. Now, part of that is because of the COVID crunch, right? Building materials have gone up. That's understandable. But part of it's just because there's a shortage of houses. And I was afraid that if we waited for the other 3.5 years that I have left until I can retire, that I wasn't going to be able to afford to move there. So we did it. We actually pulled the trigger. We got a lot. We're building a house. We're in the initial phases of it. But it was one of those things where we had our goal, which was in 3.5 years, right? My goal was to have this house that I live in now completely paid off. Then I could take that money and roll it into a new house and be able to live without a mortgage. That's probably not going to be able to happen now, obviously, because we're finishing on this house early. So we had to modify the plan. But we still understood that the plan was always the same end goal, you guys. And by doing that and understanding that sometimes our plan has to be modified on the fly a little bit, right? Doesn't always go to plan. There's going to be hiccups, there's going to be problems, but we reassess what we want, decide how we're going to fix the problem, and we continue with the plan. You guys, I think the simplest thing you can do for a plan for any kind of financial freedom, and this applies to your investing goals, your retirement goals, if you want to buy your first home, you guys, any of these goals, first thing I want you to do is I want you to write it down. Because the simple fact of writing down your goal or your plan makes you 50% more likely to stick to it even when things go sideways. The second thing I want you to do is make it a realistic goal, you guys. Don't say, hey, I want to invest and become a billionaire. A millionaire, yes, you can do that. But a billionaire, that might be a stretch. Make it an attainable goal. Also, to keep yourself in check, I don't want you to write it down and forget about it. I want you to revisit it. Depending on the goal, if it's short term, maybe you revisit it every week. If it's long term, maybe you'll revisit it every couple of months to check in and see how you're doing. Because sometimes when you look at how you're doing, it reinforces you to keep going with the goal, right? The last thing I want you to do is I want you to give yourself a timetable. Now, as I said, ours was 3.5 years from now. That's been moved up. It looks like we're going to have to sell our house here by December, and I'm going to be commuting a couple of times every month or every other month by plane. It's not ideal, but it's going to get us to our end result, which was retiring in a warm climate. So, you guys, this is just my example of a plan, and an example that you sometimes have to change that plan on the fly because life happens. Everybody knows if your plan's going along well and all of a sudden you find yourself unemployed, that's a pretty big hiccup in a plan, right? Particularly if you're saving for something big. You have no income coming in, it's really hard to save money that you don't have. But if you have that plan, and even after that hiccup, so maybe you have to put it on hold for a month or 3 months. But by going back and revisiting that written version of the plan saying, hey, I will retire at this age, or I will be a millionaire at age 65, or I will have the money for my down payment for that new house. Whatever it is, just a simple act of writing it down and looking at it, you can do it, you guys. Make a plan, stick to the plan, and expect that the plan is going to get derailed at some point, at least a little bit. Doesn't mean it's going to be completely derailed and not ever work, but there very well could be hiccups that are going to make it go sideways a little bit, and you're going to have to jig and jag, get back on course. All right, guys, I hope you found this informative. If you did, do me a favor, drop me that like. It really helps the algorithm, gets my videos out to more people. If you're not already subscribed, I'm going to ask you to hit that red button, ring the bell. You'll get notified every time I make a video. I try to make at least one a week. All right, we'll see you. Thank you.